Hello. Hello, hello, hello. I hope you guys can hear me okay. Glad to have you here. Glad to have you with us. We're a little behind schedule today or ahead. I don't know if I'm going to be starting permanently at 9 or 10. It all depends. If any of you are with me here, I'd love to know. Go ahead and say something in the chat. Sound off. We got a lot to go over today. There's a lot of strikes. I did create an image. Let me see over here of what's being targeted now. And we can go over a little bit of this. Let's see what we have here. I'm going to try to show it to you guys. So here, what we have is a map. Oh, there we go. Now, this is a map of where the strikes have been by date and by location. All right. You guys can see here. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger. You guys can see that? There we go. That's nice and big. Hello, hello. Welcome in, all of you. Now, as you have seen, these strikes are kind of everywhere. Like, I don't know if Karaj, Tehran, IRGC Central Command, Tabriz, Refinery, 81st Armored Division Base, Fardo. I know this is important. Fardo, Isfahan. This is a uranium conversion facility. Natanz. Now Fardo, Isfahan, Natanz, and Pickaxe are, I think, the most important ones. I don't know where Pickaxe is here, though. Abadan, Arak, a heavy water heat reactor, iron steel plants. So they're basically taking all the industrial centers. Missile center at Mashhad, Semnan missile test range, IRGC Central Command, Parchin Military R&D Complex, Natanz. So that we're getting in there. We are definitely getting in there. I'm gonna let you guys get in and say the hello to each other. Armin chat, say hello to Monkey chat. Monkey chat, say hello to Armin chat. Be nice to each other. You know, you guys are kind of cousin, but we're gonna allow inbreeding. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We don't do that here. We're also gonna go over some clips over here. Let me see what we got. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. Hmm. This is interesting. There we go. This is the one I'm looking for. Let me make sure I share audio. All right. So we're going to go over the latest news. What I'm going to try to do is, because there's a lot of strikes happening during the day, I'm trying to start every day with the latest news, the latest breaking news, and we're going to react to it. I want to make it the latest. Oh, look who's here. Hi, Shauna. How you doing? Hope you're good. Berlin is here. Physicist is here. Oh, got a good crowd here. All right. Thank you guys for being grand. Some of you I'm starting to remember you guys, Jennifer. And if I don't remember you, don't feel bad. I'm a monkey. Have patience with monkeys. All right. Let's get into this. I'm gonna start to pop out chats so I can keep an eye on all forms of chatting. I know you guys have there's a little bit of a difference between how the chat looks when you're on StreamYard and how the chat looks when you're on YouTube. So I like to pop out the chat from YouTube and keep an eye on that too, in case there's some emojis you guys want me to see that I haven't seen. Let's see over here. And pardon my boomerness. You guys got to remember, I'm ancient. I'm an ancient monkey. So what we should start here with is now about these guys are basically talking, and I'm not going to do this long show. This is like a little bit from this show, just a little bit. I can do this little bit. I'm not doing the full thing. Well, there's only 4 minutes of difference. What the hell? Anyway, I'm going to start here. This is about 2 hours ago, and we're going to look at some breaking news. How do you guys feel about that? And as always, I'd like to put the link to the original video from YouTube in the chat so you guys can check it out if you want it for reference or just to give it some support. Oh, I just sound you. Like I had an Atari when it was new. I've been a gamer forever. I'm ancient. Guys, when you picture me, you got to picture a very old man. I just sound young and in the know. Like my kid's in college. All right, let's go.
Also breaking tonight, Fox News can confirm President Trump is considering a return to full-scale war operations against Iran. Senior officials say the decision has not yet been made. U.S. forces are currently conducting a 10th consecutive night of airstrikes against Iran. This comes amid the deaths of U.S. service members to Iranian attacks. Today, President Trump posted, quote, "Every time Iran kills an American soldier, they will pay for that killing many times over." We have Fox team coverage tonight. Alex Hogan's at the White House with the latest on the administration's response to the developments in the region. But we begin with correspondent Steve Harrigan live in Tel Aviv tonight. Good evening, Steve.
Good evening, Brett. Just after 1 a.m. here, and CENTCOM confirms once again as we speak, more U.S. attacks are underway. Fighting in the region continues with U.S. forces striking Iran for the 10th night in a row. CENTCOM says the U.S. hit Iranian military command centers and launching sites for Iranian missiles and drones. Here's President Trump.
We feel very badly, but you know, those great people, those great patriots are out there fighting that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Iran has been very, very bad.
I've seen some of this already because I remember this clip.
Everything almost militarily.
How you doing with that?
The strait, they don't control anything. So we'll see what happens.
Iran, at the same time, continues to attack U.S. partners in the region, launching strikes against Kuwait and Bahrain today.
Right now, what we've been confirming more than anything is that the help that they're getting is from China. They're getting a lot of help from China, but because of the kind of solid fuel rocket that they're using, that solid fueled, that's some China tech.
While continuing to project defiance. Here's Iran's foreign minister.
You can neither threaten us nor bribe us.
That's stupid. No one is bribing you. A deal is a deal. If I go to a dealer and I say, hey, I want to, I'll buy this car, maybe you could bring the price down a little and I'll have my own insurance. Or I'll give you a bigger upfront cash payment and you lower the total price. That's not bribing. If I offer a bigger down payment for a lower total price on a car, am I bribing the guy? No, it's a deal. You're making a deal. This is an attempt to make the negotiation into an immoral offer. It's kind of ridiculous.
Negotiations before the
نمیتونی ما رو تهدید بکنی.
You could neither threaten us nor bribe us. In the negotiations before the 12-day war, they had come to bribe. Not to bribe me, to bribe the Islamic Republic.
Not to bribe me, to bribe the military? So you're not the military? Okay.
Saying we will do this and that. We will build this and that. I told them there that our enrichment is not for sale.
British
Our enrichment is not for sale. Like, we're trying to buy it. I thought you said it was a bribe.
military officials said Monday evening a second ship had been attacked in the Strait of Hormuz, this one off the coast of the United
I see these ships. I have no. Are these fishing ships?
Arab Emirates. Earlier, a vessel caught fire in the Strait of Hormuz after being hit by a projectile near the coastline of Oman. As many as 5 ships have passed through the strait in the past 24 hours. Here
5 ships is a very low amount.
in Israel, there's a sense of resilience after 3 years of war. Brett, one image I
Well, they're
saw
kinda
today
used
really
to it.
underscores that. I was in the elevator here in Tel Aviv, a beach city. A young woman in her 20s, civilian clothes, got in the elevator in Tel Aviv. Brett, one image I saw today really underscores that. I was in the elevator
He was in the elevator. Is that is like a bar named the elevator?
here in Tel Aviv, a beach city. A young woman in her 20s, civilian clothes, got in the elevator with her parents. It was clear the 3 of them were having a great day. She had an ice cream cone in her hand. And as the 3 of them walked out of the elevator, I noticed over her right shoulder was an M4 carbine. Ice cream in one hand, M4 in the other hand, like a lot of people here, living their lives, but ready for trouble at the same time.
Hey. You know what? M4s and ice cream. I mean, come on. That's a match made in heaven. That just says summer. That's just a nice summer.
Brett?
Amazing image. Steve Harrigan live in Tel Aviv. Steve, thanks.
Be sure to like and subscribe.
Bro, I would have taken a selfie with him. Or like, can I take a picture of this beautiful family with an M4? That would have been such a good picture. You know what I'm talking about? Jesus Christ, what an image. Okay.
Good evening, I'm Bill Malugin, and this is your Fox News report. 3 American troops are dead, killed in Iranian attacks. Private Isabella Gonzalez and First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan died when Iran fired on a U.S. base in Jordan. Another service member was killed in Iraq. The U.S. responded.
See how young these people look? I mean, like, she's 19. He also looks very young. But you got to understand, it's young people. This is a young people's army.
Fired on a U.S. base in Jordan. Another service member was killed in Iraq. The U.S. responding, hitting Iran with more airstrikes. President Trump will attend the soldiers' dignified transfer ceremony. 17 Americans have been killed so far in the conflict. A man is arrested after throwing what police say was an incendiary device at a New York federal building this morning. The FBI says the suspect was an anti-ICE rioter and was carrying weapons, including axes and a machete. Despite the large flames, there
Oh, another one of these Antifa motherfuckers.
were only minor injuries. The UK has a new prime minister. Andy Burnham, the former mayor of Manchester, is now the country's 7th prime minister in a decade. He spoke with President Trump this afternoon about defense and security.
Let me see what we got here. Fox's propaganda. What are they? What's the propaganda? The prime minister meeting up with the king. They always do that. They always have the prime minister and the these 2 guys always meet. They always meet. Like, whenever there's a prime minister, they meet with the king or the queen. Most of the time it's the queen. But now that there's a king, well, that kind of changed.
Andrew and Tristan Tate
I
appearing before a
don't know
federal
why
judge
you
in Miami this
call it
afternoon trying
propaganda.
to fight extradition back to the UK. The controversial brothers are facing
Propaganda
numerous
usually means
charges
they're
of
lying.
sexual assault and human trafficking from both Britain and Romania. And a tropical storm
Yeah.
launches in place for parts of the Gulf Coast, with Tropical Depression 2 expected to strengthen in a tropical storm Bertha, becoming the second named storm.
Bertha sounds like a big storm. Guys, what do you think? Is this going to be a big storm? Is this going to be a big storm? I think it's a little too close to land to develop too big, because usually to develop big, you got to be more at sea. When it's close to land, you know. Oh, a depression. It's
Storm of the season.
not even a
It
hurricane.
could bring flooding from the Florida Panhandle to Texas. In Washington, I'm Bill Malugin. Have a great night.
Okay, so that's the breaking news. Let's see what the high five have to say. Now this is more opinion. These guys, what they do is more opinion.
Forces striking Iran for the 10th consecutive night after President Trump vowed vengeance against the terror regime following the deaths of 4 American troops this past weekend. The president posting on Truth Social, quote, "Every time Iran kills an American soldier, they will pay for that killing many times over." Here's the president.
We feel very badly, but you know, those great people, those great patriots were out there fighting that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. We hit them very hard.
Democrats argue that airstrikes won't finish the job.
The Iranians, give them credit. They know about enriched uranium. They know about nuclear. They have sent great negotiators, but we're not going to, I do not believe anyone thinks that we're going to bomb Iran into submission.
All right. So, Dana, is it a mistake?
I agree. You can't bomb them into submission. But you can bomb the IRGC until the people take over.
A misconception that other countries like Iran, their leaders, hold the same value over human life that we do. So, like, they're fine. You can bomb us to hell and back, but they know that we aren't like
No,
that.
they'll kill their own people.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
They did. They killed 40,000 of them in January. So I think the response to killing America.
I think right now the closest estimate is 54, and she might be working off an earlier estimate. So I think that's wrong. I think that's what's
Americans,
going on.
well, it'll be clear that this is not business as usual. They gave them a chance with the memorandum of understanding that the Iranians balked at, and now you have a decisive striking back. I do believe it would be helpful to have a briefing from Secretary Hegseth and General Kane. They had, when there was kinetic action before, they had done these like once a week, and it was very helpful. And if I were them, I would do it tomorrow before they testify in front of Congress, because then it becomes a circus. So if they have their own briefing at 8:30 a.m. like they had been doing, at least they can get on the record before being in front of members of Congress who are just going to try to make it about themselves. They have to go tomorrow for the budget. And then that way you could have the secretary, he might say, I answered that this morning, let's talk about the budget, however you would want to do it. But what that would also do is to provide the president an opportunity for us to hear from the Department of Defense, like, how is this going to go? And to answer Mark Warner, I don't expect details, but when Mark Warner is out there saying that nobody expects that we're going to bomb them into submission, okay, well, I don't know. I would love to hear, like, what is the strategy then?
Yeah.
Because the key is Strait of Hormuz. I believe that the nuclear weapon thing will be off the table. Like, they're not allowed to have a nuclear weapon. That's been clear. The international community agrees on that. The issue right now is the Strait of Hormuz and trying to get that open.
Okay, so here's the thing. It doesn't matter what they agree to. You can get them to say, okay, we're not going to touch the Strait of Hormuz. They're going to go and touch it. That's the problem. They're going to lie. They always lie.
Yeah, you know, so Charlie, as a layperson, I keep hearing, like, whenever there's this kind of conflict, more targets are hit, more targets are hit. When is, like, how do you know when these targets are doing anything as just a normal person? It's like you keep hearing, oh, is this now going to make it better, or what are we hitting?
Yeah, well, and of course, one of the things that's really alarming right now is that those strikes on Jordan were
Dog USA is saying, I don't think we should know war plans. Okay, so here's the thing. We don't know the war plans, right? But because of the new way of that communication travels almost instantly through open source intel, even if you blocked Fox from saying it, and NBC and CNN from saying, legally where the targets go, you had some big overreaching law that they were not allowed to talk about any reports of what was hit. What you would have is people in those areas uploading images, and then you'd have people they would just know anyway. So you can't tell what the plan is to the future, but you can't really stop discussions of where the plan has been, where it is, and where it's going. So that's kind of like I understand you. I don't think we should know. But you can't stop the people from sussing it out. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I completely agree with that. But they're gonna do that anyway because they have to have some kind of show for their people. These are the very few wins that they've gotten in a long war. Like we've killed so many IRGC, it's not even funny, right? I mean, it is, but it is.
Pretty advanced weapons.
Mhm.
And we it certainly felt like a lot of the strikes previously had taken out a lot of their missile capabilities. So that is definitely alarming. But whatever degree to which people, misjudge the Iranian leadership, I think the Iranian leadership definitely misread President Trump and continues to misread President Trump because, usually politicians in America operate on 2 and 4 year schedules.
Yes. Why? Your presidential schedule and your midterm schedule, 2 and 4 year schedule. He said it without saying it.
They're dealing with a guy that does not care about a 2-year or a 4-year schedule. You're dealing with, first of all, no president would ever launch a war, especially one that's not particularly popular, in the middle of an election year, midterms. He's not on the ballot, but it's a midterm election.
Okay, I'm a bit of a nerd, so I like watching the jets take off and seeing one of them has the flag on the tail, the other one has a skull. They're kind of cool. These are all F-18s. I mean, I can't help but nerd out a little inside, but let's go back to what they're saying.
In the middle of an election year, midterms, he's not on the ballot, but it's a midterm election. It's important to him that Republicans win. And then, of course, you wind up with the memo of understanding. And I think that a lot of the Iranian leaders also figured he wouldn't start bombing again because everybody was relieved that was behind him and gas prices started coming down. They picked the wrong guy. And now they've killed 3 more, 2 that have been named: Private Isabella Gonzalez, 19, from Texas, and Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan, 25, from Hawaii. Patriots who lost their lives. And we are grateful for their service and we pray for their families. The fact that Iran killed them is only going to make Trump madder.
NK Grant says Ukrainian drone footage is crazy. Yeah, it is. Yeah. I'm glad you guys are listening in. I'm glad you guys hear me. But I'm just trying to tie it all together for you guys because I was a grunt. I was a grease monkey, but basically a grunt. I wasn't high in the chain of command. So I was never looking at big battle plans. Right. So I can be kind of like Guffa was saying, like a layman. I got a little bit of experience. I got a little bit of knowledge on it, but I'm not in no way talking to you guys from someone that was like a captain or a colonel or anything like that. I was closer to these guys in rank, more to this young lady's rank, than I was to any of the guests that they have.
All you're doing is hitting the hornet's nest, and he is going to respond with greater ferocity to the point that they're going to have to come up with yet a new name of this operation.
Harold, what do you think the response might entail? I hate asking speculative questions like that, but
So I join with Charlie. My prayers and condolences to the Feehan family and the Gonzalez family. They represent, these are 19 and 25-year-old people. That's what our military is made up of, and certainly all of us pray.
Yes, most of them are very young. Like if you go throughout the military, it's going to be 18 to 25 is most of them. Some of them go all the way up to 30, but the higher you go, the less of them there are.
For their families. Greg, I
E6 is pretty, that's a staff sergeant if I remember right.
think your question begs an answer from, but before you have the answer, you have to have a strategy or an objective, and then you can develop a strategy as to what you do. We have gone from, remember, February 27th, the Straits of Hormuz were open. Our objective was to.
Oh, this is really, really sweet. Don't sell yourself short. An army is only as powerful as its monkeys. Yes. The troops. That's what, what do you call a group of monkeys? Anybody know? A troop. That's what you call a group of monkey. A troop. And I was one of the troops.
Eliminate the Iranians' ability to develop a nuclear weapon and to, if not all, diminish, if not altogether, to eliminate their ballistic missile capacity. It evolved. It evolved.
Yes. This is something, he's touching on something important here. I'm going to let him say it.
Straits of Hormuz were open. Our objective was to eliminate the Iranians' ability to develop a nuclear weapon and to, if not all, diminish, if not altogether, to eliminate their ballistic missile capacity. It evolved. It evolved because I differ with my friend Charlie, I differ with you. I think that the terms of this battle have changed since February 28th. We no longer talk as much about the nuclear piece, and I hope that Dana's right that we will take this off the table. But the Iranians have taken control of the narrative because they have now shown what many presidents before feared, that if indeed we did attack the Iranians, that they would weaponize the Straits of Hormuz, which they have done. The Iranians have also suggested that the Houthis, another proxy of theirs, is going to begin controlling the Suez Canal, where you have another 10 to 15% of the world's commerce goes through there. So
I want to show you something about that. I want to show you guys something about that. I think I have it around here. This is a message. I don't know how true it is, but this is a new armed faction. The Free Yemen Movement has declared an uprising against the Houthis from inside Sana'a. We announced an armed uprising against the Houthi movement from within Sana'a due to the crimes committed by Iran and the Houthis. This uprising comes in response to the Houthis' starvation, looting, theft, and killing of Yemenis. This is literally how they treat the locals. Like when Hassan Piker is zipper diving Houthis, he is talking about very violent, evil people, right? Like no one can zipper dive a Houthi like Hassan. He jumps in it like, like it's the beach in summer. Let's see what they have to say. Okay, that's loud. Let's lower that a little bit. I'm trying to look at the weaponry here. Hey, Grok. See if I can find out. I think he's just gonna yell. Yeah, he was just gonna yell.
Well, we feel very badly, but
I mean, Iran's economy is in shambles. They're 300% inflation, particularly on.
I don't think we've talked about their economy. We can have a little look at their economy here.
They have dwindling revenues to meet even their own payroll. They have food shortages. They have a drought, which we didn't cause. But they have a gasoline shortage and a fuel shortage. All these problems existed before all this began. They've just gotten worse. They will continue to get worse. And one of the reasons why Iran is in shambles, they're a rich country. Iran is a rich country. One of the reasons why Iran is
Look, Iran has enough resources to compete with Iran has enough resources to comfortably compete with Saudi Arabia, with Abu Dhabi, as far as being a rich and beautiful nation, right? This was their position during the times of the Shah, before Mossadegh, the commie-backed prime minister, took office and was rightfully fired by the Shah for nationalizing other people's property, like some refineries that other governments paid for and built so they could have a revenue split with Iran. They're like, hey, we'll build it. You let us sell it and get some of our revenue back. And you will get a cut, of course, because you're basically leasing us this space. That was the deal. But Mossadegh decided to just confiscate all that investment. And that's why the Shah fired him. Like, there's been a lot of misconceptions about what actually happened, but that's what happened. Some commie got put in as prime minister, and he started nationalizing shit that wasn't his. And when he got fired, people call it a coup. You can't do a coup from the top down. A coup comes from the bottom up. And it was in their constitution that he could fire that motherfucker if he started going durka but fucking crazy. Or commie fucking crazy.
It's just gotten worse. It will continue to get worse. And one of the reasons why Iran is in shambles, they're a rich country. Iran is a rich country. One of the reasons why Iran is in shambles.
I wanna bring up something that's very true. Iran has resources other countries and the Persian Gulf don't. That's very true with, I think it's especially true. I'm not absolutely sure, but I think I did take a look at this before. It's especially true when it comes to rare earth minerals, the future materials that will be needed to be on the cutting edge of technology, robotics, chip creation, and all that kind of stuff. Oh, okay. So maybe also for some agrarian needs, like the soil in Khuzestan is so good for sugar canes that in the 70s, they estimated it could probably sell more sugar by the early 80s than oil. That's nice. We had a lot of sugar cane here in Puerto Rico. Now we also do a lot of pineapple, but you know, it's sweet. It's pretty sweet. That's why, okay, you seem very well versed here, sir. I'm going to take your word for it, but you sound like you're very well versed about these things. Thank you for being here.
Because every penny that this regime there gets, be it through sanctions relief or through the oil they're able to get out, they invested in Hezbollah.
Yeah, that's true. They had a lot of money. What are they doing? They give insurance and free housing, and they pay for the salary of Hezbollah. While the people in Iran starve, they're paying the people, they're paying their people to go live in Lebanon and wage war. Like, we've seen some of these recruitment videos from Armin has explained it, show the recruitment poster where they say how much they're going to pay, give them insurance on those homes. They make high rises for them. Not high rises. I'd put them like, you know, 5, 10-story apartment buildings.
They invested in Hamas. They spent billions of dollars supporting militias in Iraq, Hezbollah, and Hamas. They're not. They should be.
Bro, okay. That is true. Sugarcane can grow from Khuzestan, but Iranians do not like sugar from sugarcane. They only like it for sugar beets. Hey, that's more for from us. You know where we get our sugar? Do you know? Does anybody in the chat know? We get it from corn, from mutant corn. Like some of the, I'm not like against some genetic stuff, but some of the sugar that we get from corn, I just liked it better when we had it from cane. I just do. But I get it. Like, that means that it's an export.
Spending billions of dollars supporting the people of Iran. They should be spending billions building a country.
Yeah. Factory once a year for export.
So I think there's a growing awareness of that inside of Iran. And I think there's even a growing awareness of that among some of the people in their government. In fact, we have heard that
some of the people in the government. But obviously, you know, there's a tension here, and we'll see how that plays out. I can't tell you how it's going to play out. It's up to them.
Yeah, like he's basically saying it's up to them when it comes to you know, us bombing the Caro syrup. You know about Caro syrup. You know about Caro syrup.
Answer, we have to figure out what it is we want. If we want the Straits of Hormuz open, then I think, you know, our attacks, the continued military operation to try to affect the terms of negotiation, we have to do. Mark Warner is right. Bombing alone may not work. We talked about this last week, and Jesse talked about it too. We all did. Do we have to put troops on the ground? I don't know how you.
Okay, so we love. Okay. This is, you kind of got us here, right? We do love corn, right? But the things we do with corn are mostly related to tacos. Even as a Puerto Rican, we're not like Mexicans as far as burritos and tacos are not something we daily. That's more like a special occasion kind of thing. Like we go to Mexican restaurants, it's like, ooh, nice. And Taco Bell, but Taco Bell is everywhere. I mean, you can't, that's an American thing. Like, but nice, authentic Mexican food, that's like a delicacy. That's you do is sometimes you go to a nice place, una taqueria, and you eat some taquitos or some big burritos. And that's where they use corn, right? It's not as much for sugar products. It's a different kind. They kind of make it like, or we do some things with corn that it's kind of like grits.
How you reassert control to ensure the waters are navigable. I don't want to do this. This is not my preferred action, but when you have no allies going into this but the Israelis, and they are important allies, we're going to be the ones that have to put the troops on the ground if we want the Straits open. Why? Because it is clear to me, as much as the president and my friend Secretary Bessent may say, we do not, nor have we ever controlled the Straits of Hormuz. They do. Finally, Mr. President, you don't need to tell the world that if 2 Americans are killed and 1's missing, or 3 are killed and 1 is missing, that you're going to direct the Secretary of War and the Joint Chiefs of Staff to respond. That's your job. That's what we'd hope you'd be doing. And I've said on this show.
Yeah, that goes without. Like, I get what he's saying. Like, okay, so here's the thing. He's not pulling punches, and he's not punching. Like he's not attacking, but he's laying it out. Like, we got to realize that some things here are kind of obvious, right? They can't keep fucking doing this until you wipe them out. Let's go back.
I don't know how you reassert control to ensure the waters are navigable. I don't want to do this. This is not my preferred action, but when you have no allies going into this but the Israelis, and they are important allies, we're going to be the ones that have to put the troops on the ground if we want the Straits open. Why? Because it is clear to me, as much as the president and my friend Secretary Bessent may say, we do not, nor have we ever controlled the Straits of Hormuz. They do. Finally, Mr. President, you don't need to tell the world that if 2 Americans are killed and 1's missing, or 3 are killed and 1 is missing, that you're going to direct the Secretary of War and the Joint Chiefs of Staff to respond. That's your job. That's what we'd hope you'd be doing. And I've said on this show many times, please stop talking so much. There's no need to tell them everything we're doing.
That's, oh my God. Oh my God. This guy is just speaking my language.
All that you're thinking and when you're going to do it. Because if you choose not to do it and you have one occasion, it affects your credibility, not only with the Iranians and not only with Americans, but with the rest of the world.
Look, with the voter base, which is the one that matters most, the base, not the other party, not the people that hate you, but the people who are most motivated to be with you, they're going to get kind of pissed. They're going to get angry. And the center does not hold. You got to be solid if you want the center to hold.
Last word to you, Kennedy.
Well, you asked Dana, I think, a very important question, which is, do they value human life in the same way? Absolutely not. Like they are dealing with the afterlife. This is a theocracy, and we're never going to talk them into rational capitalism. That is the great mistake we've made in the Middle East for decades. Having said that, you started it, now you have to finish it. And how do you do that? Unfortunately, I agree with Harold. I think Mark Warner is right. I also think Mark Warner is an asshat.
Me too.
I think he's one of those
people. Okay. Like, it is what it is.
people who hates Trump so much. He's rooting for the other side to be victorious just to stick it to Trump. And I don't want to hear anyone giving input who hates the president that much. That's so bad for the country. But I would like to hear from another Democrat. Fine. If you think this is a war of choice, if you think that the consequences here are so incredibly dire and set the Middle East up for disaster, then what would you do? If there is another way to do this, you know, we're already halfway in. Do you get us halfway out? Do you go the full distance? Because, you know, there aren't too many approaches. There aren't too many choices left available. Unfortunately, once you've started something like this, the way you finish it is with American ground troops. And, you know,
Okay, this is very important. I'm going to address this soon. I'm going to start this comment and we're going to address this.
No, we're saddened and disgusted to hear about those newly minted Gold Star families. That is not what we want. But if we see a ground invasion, you're going to see a lot more than that. And you're going to, you know, you're going to have young people whose lives are destroyed. And, you know, we're not going to be saying their names every day on TV. And it's not just politically costly. It's at some point it gets to be immoral.
The only other option is another deal. And the deal is probably, I hate to say this is not a political comment, but it may be worse than the deal Obama struck, because you're going to have to unfreeze all of that money if we don't want to put troops on the ground. Because guess who else knows we don't want to put troops on the ground? The Iranians.
Yeah.
So again, this is not what I want to have happen. But Mark Warner loves this country. I understand. Just saying he may disagree with President Trump.
Here's the thing: what does troops on the ground mean? Are we talking 10 to 20,000? That's nothing. Are we talking 60 to 120? That's a lot. If you're doing that, you're staying. You're not training and moving. You're staying. Like what I'm thinking is training and moving, right? That's what I'm thinking. But he's like not taking into account the discontent that most people will have with the regime. That you could do the other plan, right? I'm gonna share another plan that could be had here. I don't know if I can. Let me see what I can do here. Okay. Not this. I'm going to show you an image I made yesterday. Now, this is the plan that I would go with. All right, I'm going to show this to you guys. Right? Nope, this is the wrong image. I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one. Now, this is the one I wanted to go with. What we have here is everything in the area. All right. In the area, we have 21,000 troops. Of those, 8,000 to 9,000 are land troops. We can hit a button, and this turns into 18,000 to 19,000. We have around 800 to 1,200 land vehicles, 15 hovercraft, 110 combat jets, up to 85 helicopters, and 24 to 28 Ospreys. These are tilt rotor vehicles. 300 to 600 drones. That number changes because we can bring them in and take them back out. And 350 to 425, 427 pilots. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's our total forces in the area. Now, if we could get our NATO partners to kind of pick up the slack around the edges in the Atlantic, in the European theaters, in the Indo-Pacific, with basically Japan, Australia, Taiwan, you know, staying strong and on it, right? We could basically have a surge from the south. Go town by town, start by Bandar Abbas, and start vetting and training people to stay in power. Vetting is very important because with the contrast, we didn't have the right training. When we started training the Mexican cartels, we didn't have the right vetting, and they turned into Los Zetas. That's what happened when you don't vet them right. And with the Contras, it was a disaster because they weren't trained right. So with the right training and vetting, learning from those lessons, if we could get local Iranians, and this isn't going to be by race or by creed or by anything like that, it's just local Iranians that have been vetted to be against the IRGC and for a secular, integrated Iran, that has for a constitutional form of government that will swear loyalty to a transitional government. You declare a transitional government and you just start replacing all these people. And you head north and you head north and you head north and you take town and you take town and you take now. What's the problem? This is something you have to do basically after a 5-day, $5 billion campaign of strikes where you've hit every in-house, outhouse, doghouse, hen house, fucking everything, every police station, every police car, you hit everything. And you let civilians that are trained to take over the infrastructure, but you have to vet them. So you would start in the South and have cities that are controlled, and you would have to train the police force there to keep the IRGC away. The farther north you go, the more cities you can take over, the more you get until you get a total control. The problem is you have to do this within weeks. You can't take long. You have to do this. This has to be what the Germans called a blitzkrieg. This is what we did in Iraq. We took Iraq over super fast. The problem with Iraq wasn't taking it over. The problem with Iraq is we didn't have a plan for after. Right? That was the plan. We didn't have a plan. Taking out the Ba'ath Party without figuring out who we're going to put there in their place as a transitional government was a problem. That was flying by the seat of the pants. And the Democrat administrations that came after let it get worse. Because when things get worse, they get to move more money in the dark and they pocket always some of it. That's why Democrats love it when things get worse. The worse things get, the more money they can redistribute. And every time they redistribute, they take a cut. So this is what I think would work. You hit the button that makes this 18 and 19 into this 8 and 9 into 18 and 19, and you just basically swarm up, and everybody you leave like Green Berets training and vetting. I think it can be done. But that's not an option that these guys are talking about, right? These guys are more talking about like keeping the regime in power. He's like, well, you got to take a deal. Why do you have to take a deal? Why? Because you have to leave the regime in power? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure it was terrible. All right, let's see what else we have here. I want to also talk about something else. There was a message from the king that there are forces that, and I want to see if I can find that. This is not the full message. This is an interview. Wait a minute. Former mech. That's important. They can't be mech. It has to be former mech. I don't know what Basiji is. Is that like police? country or state? I don't understand. So there's some interesting things. I want to find this full interview is what I would really like to find. But I don't know where it is. If any of you guys know where it is, let me know. But another thing that happened at the beginning of the conflict is that a lot of Artesh members, and some of them claim to have high rank, not super high, but high enough to make a difference, were, oh my God, I thought I was sharing and I wasn't. Let me go back.
In fact, I've reached out to people who were, at the time, my father's worst enemies. Today,
Can you guys hear it
fully
now?
on board working with me. I'm talking about former Marxists, people who used to be member of the Tudeh Party, the Fedayan Khalq organization, former MEK members. I don't know how far more can you stretch the tent, including those people, to prove that, in fact, there is much more unity than ever.
So these are all the people that hate the IRGC. The thing is, I don't, I'm not down with
I
Mac.
began receiving some, DMs in my, we hate this regime, we're not with them, we're looking for an opportunity to break away, blah, blah, blah. It was really a casual. And
So he's not talking about the top.
this intervention can actually help save more lives that will
The
otherwise
problem I
also-
have,
So-
and this is what I'm saying, I want this full interview because a lot of this interview is very cut down.
نباشه آقا مسئله حجابه یا
I already saw this.
This intervention,
رابطه با
I can't
I
find
began
the full
receiving
interview.
some
But that's what I was. Okay, so this is what this was. The long tubes on the left and right are Kornet Iranian depth copy anti-tank guided missile launcher, laser beam riding ATGMs, man portable trifle fire, effective versus tank and fortifications at 5 kilometers, standard heavy weapons in Yemen arsenal, often captured or smuggled. Okay. The right one's vertical carry, the yellow band is typical for these tubes. The yellow band. Okay. Okay, now I know what that was. So here's the thing. If he has Artesh on his side, if we can get Artesh on our side, that helps a lot.
Being peace and diplomacy, and if the Iranians would engage and be serious about resolving this conflict.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What is this? Ortega announced no more elections in Nicaragua? Holy shit. Who was there was another guy that got a little too big for his britches. What was that guy's name? Oh my god. The first guy we Maduro'd. Do you guys remember his name?
They would find a willing partner in the United States of America. But, Iran continues to choose violence.
So what does that tell us about the future here? Do we have any reason to believe?
In Panama? No, not Saddam. We didn't. Saddam was after everything. I mean, like Maduro, we just went in and got that fucker. Oh. Noriega. That's that motherfucker. Yeah, Noriega. The first one to get Maduro got Noriega. That's what happened to Maduro. Maduro got Noriega.
Believe that any of this will ever be able to be resolved through diplomacy?
Yeah, Sandra, thanks for having me. Look, before we even start, our hearts and our prayers go out to those family members and the soldiers we lost just this last weekend. So we always should have them in the forefront of our mind. Look, there's about 5 things we ought to be doing right now because the war has changed right now in Iran. One, on negotiations. I would change out our negotiations team. You do not have or need real estate guys to be talking about negotiation during the middle of a war. And when you do bring in negotiations,
That's kind of stupid. Why would you have real estate guys in a war negotiation? I never understood that.
team back, it ought to be a real hardcore son of a bitch that is just sitting on the ground and can really do it well. And I don't think we have that right now. The second thing, and the president's doing this right now on decapitation exercises, just taking out certain targets. He should continue to do it and make them really afraid of their life and stay hidden with the Revolutionary Guards and the leadership of Iran. And the third thing I would do is I would seize Karg Island and I would seize Larak Island. Why? Because Karg Island actually produces about 90% of their energy. And
Karg Island has 31, I think it's 31 million gallons of oil right now. That's a lot of oil we could get.
Larak Island, more to the east, is really their command and control center for the strait. Will there be risk? Of course there are. It's called war, and that'll happen, and they'll accept that. But
so he's talking about taking
understand
places.
why something like that needs to be done. It gives the president leverage he doesn't currently have, because airstrikes alone are not going to win this war. You're going to need ground troops to do something. That doesn't mean they go all the way to Tehran. I'm not advocating that at all. But you can take a couple of key strategic targets that gives the president.
I'm advocating for that,
and it controls their economy. And the fourth.
Like, I'm advocating for that, but I'm doing it like with the Iranian people. Let them be the boots.
Fourth is, this is one of those you reach out to the agency or somebody like that and you say, we need to come up with a way to provide support to the Iranian revolutionaries that can overthrow this government. And that needs to be done. Sort of like we did originally in Afghanistan by putting special operations troops on the ground. They can do it and do that well. And the last thing I would do, I'd tell the president, look, sir, you need to go to the American people. They'll follow you. Bring them along. You are the constitutional commander-in-chief. Article 2, Section 2 is very clear. You're the leader, and they will follow you once you explain it to them. You are absolutely correct. We cannot afford to have a nuclear Iran. It will totally destabilize the Middle East.
Can we afford to have an Iran that's mixing COVID with fucking rabies and Ebola? Because that's a lot easier to make than nukes and a lot harder to detect. If they say, go ahead, take the nukes away, can we afford an Iran that still has the ballistic nuke and cluster bomb capability to spread some kind of disease, fake or real, so far that it devastates the economy, leads to the fucking lockdown nuts to take over, destroy the economy, gain more control? Can we afford any type of IRGC in power? Can we afford that? Because these people keep talking about nukes. Like, nukes are the only weapon out there that causes great devastation. It's like they never heard of bioweapons. It's like they never heard of COVID. You never heard of COVID in a can? COVID from a missile? The IRGC is the problem. You know what the biggest problem with the IRGC is? They're so fucking stupid that they're stuck on nukes. If they say it, fuck nukes, we're going to start making bioweapons. We would be so fucked because they would be giving up the nukes. They would say, yeah, take the nukes. Take the nukes. I'm going to make zombie viruses. I'm going to turn the world into Resident Evil. That's the fucking problem with the IRGC. They're so stupid that they picked one apocalypse. But the day they give up the nukes, it's because they're making bioweapons. You got to get rid of them. You can't just like, oh, we'll take the nukes.
Because then the Saudis.
Okay, check this out. This is a person from Iran. They say, monkey, this is from Iran to Iran. The Iranian people don't care about destroying the infrastructure at all. They want the Islamic Republic destroyed. I understand that, but I'm in the know. which means I'm looking at what people from the inside are saying. I'm talking to people that know the language. I'm talking to people that understand the culture, that are from the diaspora or have lived there. I know that. That doesn't mean anyone else in the US is going to even believe that you are from where you say you are and that you want what you say you want. They might believe that you are a small portion of the population, and they might believe that we should not be like, just because you are rightly so in favor of getting rid of these people at any cost doesn't mean that the Americans are going to understand that that's the best option. You know the truth. That doesn't mean that we know the truth. I mean, I know, but your typical American that doesn't understand your language, doesn't understand your culture, has only known about the Middle East by pictures of the worst parts of Afghanistan and Iraq from 10 and 20 years ago. You understand the problem. The problem isn't that the ones that understand you don't want to help you. The problem is the ones that don't understand you, that don't know, that have been trained all their lives through the media. You got to remember, for every Fox, we have CNN, NBC, and ABC, CBS, and PBS. That's 5 news stations that are left-wing communists for every one that's a little conservative. Middle of the road conservative, mind you, not hardcore. So we have been spoon-fed all our lives since we've been babies that everything we do is evil. Everywhere we go, we leave destruction and pain and misery and death. And that may not be true. Iraq may be a much better place now. We may have made a big difference in helping Israel get along with Lebanon, right? That might have been great. We have been spoon-fed all our lives that we are evil. Like the world, especially the ones that live under autocrats, see us as a people that are the beacon of hope, the beacon of freedom. But from inside, there's this rot that just punches us like an evil brother inside our home, telling us, no, all the good you do is bad. All the things you do that are good, they're bad. So for us to get the message out, let me take you off the spotlight because I don't want to put you on the spot too much. I understand and I believe what you're telling me, but it is a much harder sell to people that aren't evil. They're not against you. They're just ignorant. And because they're ignorant, they're so afraid to hurt you, to leave you in a bad spot, that they get decision overload. They get locked. They don't know what to do. They say, I don't want to interfere because what if I make it worse? What if I make it worse? What if I make it worse again? They're afraid. They're afraid to use their power. Like a giant in a village that wants to do good but is afraid to step on the houses. You understand? Like, yeah, Javid Shah, like, we're down with the cause. I'm down with the cause, but they don't understand. So that's why people like me, people like Armin, people like Tusi, people like Goldie, people like Ali are trying to teach the Americans the truth. First of all, you're not evil. Well, the things we have done are good. I'm Israel Chai, yeah. Great people too. We've been lied to about our relationship with Israel. We lose like $1.4 trillion in fraud. That's not that, like, our dollars aren't being stolen by Israel. We give them a little discount on weapons. We give them like a $3 billion discount on $16 billion purchase. That's peanuts. That's 1 year's budget of California. Like I'm not talking about 1 year's budget in California. 1 year's fraud loss in California is over that. We've been lied to all our lives and told that we are evil. So we are afraid that if we try to help, we'll make it worse. That's the problem. So I want you to understand that the Americans are afraid to leave you worse than you are now. That would be our nightmare, is to have something worse than the IRGC take over. That's not my plan. I showed you my plan. I said we go, we coordinate with people like you and start giving the town over to the people once we train them correctly and vet them to be good people, right? That's what I'm that's what I'm a spokesman for, right? I apologize. I don't speak Persian. I know you guys are basically talking. I hope you're not angry with me. I'm trying to do the best I can to explain to the American. That's the whole purpose of my show, is to tell them, the Americans, hey, this is what's going on. That's why I'm here. Yeah, we have to bomb the shit out of the structures that are controlled by the IRGC. They're police stations, trying to not hit the jail, like more hit the offices, but that kind of stuff.
These will get one. The UAE will get one, the Bahrainis will get one, and then the place goes out of control. And you're doing it not for you and not for me. We're doing it for our kids and our grandkids. And if you explain that to the American people, I guarantee you they're going to come online. There's going to be critics. There always are. Just ignore them. Just continue to do what you've been doing, which is really leading from the front.
Thank you for your thoughts on that, General. This was General Keane on Fox earlier today, offering his thoughts on returning to major combat operations. Listen.
We're fully prepared to go back to major combat operations, which would be 2 weeks with a different set of targets than what we're pursuing right now, along with the Israelis. And if we're prepared to do that, where the targets are considerably more exhaustive than what we're dealing with the Straits of Hormuz, I think we're in good shape.
Was this a reference to Karg Island, as you just suggested?
Well, I think so. By the way, he's your hard-ass son of a bitch. That ought to be out there negotiating, because I think he's that good.
Yeah, I'd rather have that guy negotiating than some real estate people.
And he's really, really smart. But you've got to do something different. You are not going to win a war just from bombing alone or strategic strikes from the air. I lived through that in the first Gulf War, when we went through a month of bombing, and finally it was on the berm, crossed the berm, and I got to the Euphrates River with the column I was leading. After 100 hours on the ground, the Iraqis said, we have enough of this. And I think you need to do something dramatic, and something like dramatic could be taking Karg Island, Lanark Island, which is their command and control hub in the Strait, and use that as leverage for the future.
Okay. We will obviously be watching.
Yeah, I agree with that.
For everything that happens from here. And we do have our hearts and our thoughts are with those families of those service.
Definitely. Like, I put out there the death toll. Let me see if I can find it, because I had that and I wanted you guys to see, right? I want to see if I can find it for you guys. I just want to make sure I'm showing the right document. Nope, it's not here. Damn, I don't see it. Because I had, oh, maybe it's the screenshots. I had made a list. Here we go. Now, I'm going to share with you guys the list. This is something I want you guys to see. All right, can you guys see this? Casualties and injuries caused by the IRGC and its proxies in the 2026 conflict. These are the people that they've killed just this year. In Iraq, the deaths are 128 when they launched their missiles. In Iraq, the deaths that they've caused is 387. These aren't soldiers. These are civilians. These are people that work around us. In Israel, 70 deaths, 9,241 injuries. This is because they're also being hit by Hezbollah. So they get more rocket strikes. Luckily, I mean, you don't want to say luckily about injury, but at least it's not death. Oman, 19 deaths, 26 injured. Qatar, 18 dead, 91 injured. Saudi Arabia, 17 dead, 23 injured. United States, 16 dead, over 425 injured. United Arab Emirates, 15 dead, 246 injured. In the West Bank, who did the IRGC hit? 14 dead, 15 injured. Kuwait, 11 dead, 187 injured. In Syria, 6 dead, 4 injured, all the way in Syria. Bahrain, 2 dead, 51 injured. Lebanon, 1 dead, 2 injured. I think maybe this is also all from the initial attacks. There was a lot of injuries on that first attack. Luckily, few dead. But the first attack was very, very high in injury. And I think that's where a lot of this comes from, not necessarily Hezbollah. In Jordan, the Jordanians have luckily, and we're happy that none of them had died, but they have 29 injured. In total, we could sit 317. I think today it's 18 dead at the hands of the IRGC, souls that will not be able to flourish. The end of possibilities. While you live, there is a possibility, not for all, that you may become a great contributor to your society. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you're a teacher that teaches someone very important. Maybe you're a teacher that teaches many people that become very important, and you become a catalyst for some great good. Maybe you yourself become a great inventor in the fields of medicine, in robotics, in whatever, medicine, robotics, entrepreneurship, engines, whatever you do, chemistry, whatever it is. Maybe you were going to be a great poet, a great writer. It is the end of possibilities here, just like it was the end of possibilities for the right now, I think verified we have up to 52 to 54,000, probably more like 70, that the IRGC killed within their borders. The end of possibilities. That is the greatest of loss. So when I say we have to finish these people, it is because of they are the killers of possibility, the enders of hope, the destroyers of the future. So I know that you feel we should know that these people have to go. I want to express to you, I know. That's why I'm on here 8 hours every day. That's why. I don't get paid for this. I mean, I wouldn't mind monetization. I'm not going to lie. I am a capitalist. But what do you think I'm going to spend the money on? You think I'm going to go get a limousine? No, I'm going to make my monkey look nicer so I get more people to come in. I'm going to get invest in some things for the house so I can have a place here where I can give you better service, so I can get some batteries so my crappy Puerto Rican electric grid doesn't turn me off in the middle of a stream like it's done a few times. That's what I'm striving for. I didn't even want to make a channel. Armin practically pushed me into it. And I'm grateful. I'm not pushed, maybe a strong word. He encouraged me greatly. He mentored me. But I did not see as myself as someone that anyone should listen to. But you know what? If you guys need somebody to speak and I don't see nobody else out here, well, fuck it, I'll do it. Why not? But I never saw myself above you, which is why I made myself a monkey. I did not make myself a superhero with super muscles or super handsome. I did not make myself super pretty. I did not make myself super strong. I made me a monkey. I'm not above you. I'm here with you. That's what this is all about. So we're going to get back to some of what's being said on the internet, right? Because I don't want to be a downer, right? I want you guys to have some hope out there. Let's see what we got here. Excuse me. Now, this is someone that was the sister of someone who passed away. This is Darlene Graham. She was the sister of Lindsey Graham. And she is now going to take his place as senator.
Saying, I hope, the president again saying, I hope Darlene does this. Meaning, I hope you will get, and here's the filing deadline for people that don't know, and these are just the laws of South Carolina. The filing begins tomorrow. I think you have a week.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
And by that time, the funerals won't even have taken place.
I know.
And then the president's putting an ask on you, we'll put it that way. It's a lot of pressure.
It is a tremendous amount of pressure.
Tell me what's going through your head about it, and where do you stand now?
I'll continue to say I've been praying a lot, talking to my family, but with the love of my family, with the support of his staff. I know I'm a hard worker. I learned that from Lindsey. He cared about the people of this state. I've worked for almost 30 years for the people of this state.
I want to talk about that in a minute.
I feel like I can do it. I feel an inner peace about it.
That's good news, guys. I think she's going to do it. I mean, Texas is with you.
Will it be difficult? Yes, absolutely.
So you're inclined to get in, or have you even made a final decision?
I've made a decision.
You're in.
I'm in.
All right, thank you. All right, enough said. Enough said. I know that people in Iran have like a certain, I don't know how to put it, a certain kinship, a certain love. Like kin means family. Like that's my kin, means that my family. And I know Iranians, the Iranian people, not the IRGC, they hate him. But the Iranian people have a certain kinship towards Lindsey Graham. And this is literally his kin, his sister, and she's going to take his place. There was a lot of fear. There was a lot of fear that his seat might go to a bad person, a person that did not follow his heart. But I think his sister knows his heart and will follow it. Lindsey, when he was a young man in college, his parents died. I think it was one right after the other. They had heart conditions as well. And what's going on there is that, I mean, people want to say there's, someone pushed that condition over the edge or not. I don't know. I don't think so. He was very, I wouldn't say he's old, but for a person with that condition, going as hard as in the paint as he did, taking that trip all the way to Ukraine and back pretty fast, that wears on you. So, that could have been what caused it. And I don't want to dwell on that too much. I just want to say that I think his sister over here, his kin, right, seemed like a very nice person. I'm trying to get like a shot where you know
I
how
feel an inner peace about it.
there we go. This is so you can see her. You know, when we talk, we express ourselves. So if you pause it, it kind of looks a little funny. So I want to be respectful with the shot, right? So this is his sister. And when he was a young man in college, he had to like raise her, basically adopt her because she couldn't legally go to him like just like that, and she was a minor. So he been taking care of her all her life, and he then was in the military, I believe, in the Air Force for I think it was like 31 years, 33 years, and then he went on to be a senator. He adopted her when he was 21. He was 11. So, that's you got to get permission from the state to do something like that. And he did it, right? So, this was always a family man. Joined the Air Force, was a military man for a long time. And then he went on to work as a statesman. So this was his life. His life was service. And I think if anyone is going to take his place, it would be someone after his heart, someone that knew his heart. So this is some good news. I'm trying to give everybody some good news. And the good news is that she is running. She will be the one taking his place. I don't know if they have to go through a primary. Not a primary, the midterms. But she might be officially the candidate for the Republicans there. Texas can probably school me on this. Texas, she still has to run in the midterms in his place, right? She's just going to be the nominee, or does she automatically? Yes, the midterms. Yes, so I am understanding correctly. All right. So here's the thing about the states, folks, for you that aren't from the states. Each state has its own local laws when it comes to who gets to be in charge. Then when they get to the federal level, well, they have the same power as any senator, but the way you pick them is a little different in each state. All right, now we're going to get into some more local news. Now, for everyone from the outside, yes, I am Puerto Rican. Yo soy boricua de pura cepa, viví casi toda mi vida en Puerto Rico. Lo que sucede es que yo viví entre Puerto Rico y los Estados Unidos, tuve mucho tiempo en Miami, también en otros lugares en Florida, Orlando, y después también viví en Puerto Rico, así que en español, inglés, acá y allá. I am Puerto Rican. I've been in Puerto Rico most of my life. I did spend a lot of time in Florida. I went from Miami to over here to Orlando. I was in many places, but I am Puerto Rican, yes. All right. There's
around.
We have a troll in the chat. What's going on here? Look, people can disagree. Just don't piss me off. If you get disrespectful with each other, start calling each other names, start being disrespectful with the mods. Like you could disagree, but if you get disrespectful, I got Asmongold rules. If you ever seen Asmongold, how he deals with chat, that's pretty much how I deal with chat. Johnny the Monkey. Oh, okay. We can take care of that. Let me see here. There we go. Problem solved.
9 o'clock this morning, a man with an incendiary device and some liquid. I don't know what the liquid was. Put the liquid down, set some fireworks on top of it. It caused a little bit of a fire. He was armed with a pellet gun. 2 people were injured. Our Joint Terrorism Task Force is investigating this as an anti-government attack on a federal facility.
Top of a new hour here. Chaos outside a federal building in New York City today. Thick smoke erupting outside the lower Manhattan complex as agents confront a suspect with their guns drawn. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Sandra Smith. We have an update on that situation. And look who's joining us this week. Jillian, good to have you here today.
Thank you for having me, Sandra. It's awesome to be here with you in person.
Live from Studio J. Good to
Live
have
from
you.
Studio J. I'm Jillian Turner in for John today. This is America Reports. Right now, the FBI says they have a suspect in custody. No word on what caused the smoke we saw on scene earlier, but investigators say an incendiary device was used outside the building. It houses ICE agents as well as a federal immigration court.
Law enforcement sources telling Fox News Digital the suspect's name is Andrew Arabica and that he had, quote,
Andrew Arabica. That's an odd name. I mean, people could say it sounds Arabic, but I don't think Arabica is a common Arabic name.
anti-ICE stuff on him. The White House border czar Tom Homan will be here to react in moments.
First, we go to correspondent Nate Foy. He's right here in the New York newsroom with all the details. Hey, Nate.
Hey, Jillian, good afternoon. So, yeah, those law enforcement sources confirming with Fox News Digital the man arrested is named Andrew Arabica and that he had anti-ICE stuff on him. Take a live look at the scene.
Arabica, like Chewbacca, but more Ara. Arabica coffee beans? No. Coffee is, we're not going to taint coffee with any religious durka intent. But Arabica sounds like Chewbacca. Just like a different vaca. Like vaca means cow in Spanish. La vaca. La misma vaca. That means like the cow.
Scene in downtown Manhattan, the federal building. You can see investigators here picking up evidence right now. This building houses New York City's immigration court, ICE offices, and FBI field office. You can see that things are more calm now. Take a look at this next video. At about 9 a.m. Eastern time, things looked very different. This was right after that man set off fireworks outside the building, Arabica.
Let me see him.
At about 9 a.m. Eastern time, things looked
Okay, here he comes.
very different. This was right
Let's look at this vaca.
after that man
This could be Latin American.
set off fireworks outside.
Yeah, he could be
the
Latin
building,
American.
Arabica. Federal agents took him into custody. They also found a pellet gun. The FBI's
That's so stupid.
assistant director in charge, James Barnacle, provided an update on those injured in the attack.
2 people were
Okay. Did you know Chewbacca means dog in Russian? I was this old when I found out. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. If that is, that's funny. That is funny. So F da punto. No, punto means dot. You got to take the N out. It's puto. Puto is like a male prostitute. You can't put the N in there. But the chat in YouTube might not let you say puto. So if they don't let you say puto, you put punto and I'm gonna understand. But Latinos are gonna be like, what do you mean that dot? F that dot. You guys say puto. But you know what? Hey, you get an A for effort.
injured, 1 federal employee.
He is a pendejo. Fun fact, that means pubic hair. It literally means pubic hair. But we also use it to mean like an idiot or a dumbass or someone who is, it's not just like someone that gets taken advantage of, someone that always falls for the trick is someone you would call pendejo. Y este pendejo. Lo cogieron de pendejo means like they scammed him. They pulled his leg. Es un pendejo. Like he lets people like you know, treat him like shit. Es un pendejo. That's how it's used. But what it literally means is pubic hair. So you're basically saying that guy's a pubic hair. Oh my God. Okay, we're going for it. Cabrón. Cabrón means cuck. This is the #1, the most used word in Puerto Rico. is something that friends call each other, but never call a stranger that. Not limited by race. Again, you nobody's going to be offended by a race. Like everybody gets angry when you call them that. Oye, oye, ven acá, cabrón. Yes, he is very possibly a cuck. That may be why he's so angry and taking it out on the state. But that's what cabrón means. Cabrón means cuck. Anybody say, hey, cabrón, that means cuck. That literally means cuck. It means your wife is unfaithful. So he could be a pendejo, he could be a cabrón, he could be a puto, he could be a combination of those things.
And one civilian. Minor injuries, they are both treated and released.
Oh, I got nothing but love for Texas. Appreciate you always. But hey, you know, we live, we learn. You could teach me some Texas stuff.
Democratic politicians who frequently criticize ICE.
Oh, it's Timu Obama. Isn't this Timu Obama? Isn't this like Alibaba Obama? the Timu version, right?
Are striking a different tone than normal after this morning's attack. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said acts of terror and violence will never be
Dollar store Obama.
Tolerated, while New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani posted in part on X, quote, "What occurred outside 26 Federal Plaza this morning was deeply disturbing. I'm relieved no one was seriously injured and that a suspect is in custody. My team is in touch with the NYPD and we will support the federal investigation." Now,
how do you know he didn't make this? ChatGPT did. Can anybody clock it? If this was his message, how do you know it was ChatGPT? Does anybody know? Can anybody tell by looking at the text? You guys can't tell? I can tell. The second I see it, I'm like, oh, that's ChatGPT. The hyphen, yeah, we don't use long dashes. Humans don't use long dashes. Long dashes are a ChatGPT thing. Humans don't do this shit.
as you know, Jillian, this same building has been the site of several anti-ICE demonstrations.
Exactly. Y'all
including
know.
the one last September that resulted in the arrest of New York congressional candidate and former city comptroller Brad Lander. The FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force is leading this investigation into what they call an anti-government attack. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Nate Foy here in New York for us this afternoon. Thank you. Sandra?
All right, thank you. Joining us now with exclusive reaction, White House border czar Tom Homan. Tom, welcome back to you.
This is the man they call the Wall, Tom the Wall Homan.
So can you please add to what we're learning here?
Well, first of all, I appreciate the comments from Mamdani and Jeffries, but too little, too late. They spent a year attacking ICE, comparing ICE. So let's abolish ICE because they're fascists. ICE are Nazis. ICE are racist. ICE is a secret police. ICE isn't a real law enforcement. They spent a year attacking.
This is an important point. They did spend a year to the point that there was shootings. There was a shooting yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before at Nice Center. That didn't go into the news. This fire is only in the news because it's in New York, right? It is their rhetoric that ICE are not real police. They can't stop you. A lie that creates martyrs for them. It is their rhetoric that these are Nazis, that they're fascists. That's the rhetoric that leads to dangerous situations.
ICE, comparing ICE. So let's abolish ICE because they're fascists. ICE are Nazis. ICE are racist. ICE is a secret police. ICE isn't a real law enforcement agency. Fail to comply with ICE. I see the signs every protest resist. So look,
Yeah, don't do that. Don't gilipollas. Okay, y'all just throwing all the sauce. Some of these are not like gilipollas. Gilipollas is not typical from Puerto Rico. I don't know what come mierda. That's very Cuban. And they spell it they didn't spell it very particularly, but they pronounce it instead of we say mierda. 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 We don't roll the hard that out, pero mierda. They say mierda. Mierda. Like it has a couple of H's in there. It's very particular. That's how you know it's good. That's how you know that mierda. Like, we're getting too much into Spanish cussing. But if you guys want a Spanish cussing 101, we can go over that.
Educated people that they can resist ICE, and the hateful rhetoric continues, which we've had some tragedies recently because people didn't want to comply with ICE. So this is yet another example today what happened.
Being a Puerto Rican, why am I okay with ICE? Because I don't want some fucking illegal immigrant voting and canceling my vote. I know that sounded angry, but you're just bringing up memories. Of course, I don't want some fucking illegal immigrant taking my vote. Of course not. Of course, I don't want some illegal immigrant making it harder for me to go to the emergency room because there's 50 of them in there. And I got to get my mom into the fucking emergency room. I got to get my grandma in the emergency room. And these motherfuckers, instead of going to make their country better and getting the fucking socialism that made their country shit out of their country, no, they're over here. They're over here turning my country into the same shit. Overloading the system to the point that we need more infrastructure, we need to hire more people, so we need more taxes to keep the never-ending cycle into working is impossible because you get all of your money goes into taking care of these people. Why am I? The fact is that there is a disenfranchisement campaign that is going on. That's what's really going on. I'm going to publish an article about this. I don't have it here yet. I have it published on another account. I'm going to see if I can find it. Let me see. I'm going to look for it here. I think it should be around here. Here it is. Now, what we have here is why the Democrats flooded every minority district with purple or red with migrants. Voter replacement strategy of 2016 is when they took all the places where Democrats that are black or Democrats that are Latinos dared to vote for Trump in order to disenfranchise people like that, Latinos and black people. They flooded these places with illegal immigrants and made it so that they don't have to vote and that they don't need an ID to vote. So what does that do? That cancels the vote of legal Latinos. It cancels the votes of black people. You are replacing or canceling out their vote with these outsiders. What do you think? Because that's like saying, if a woman robs a bank, every woman should support that. If a woman starts setting cars on fire, every woman should support that. Because women together strong, like monkeys together strong, right? Yeah, okay, we're a territory, but we get votes in the electoral college for the presidency. We don't get a direct vote, but we do get our electoral votes in the presidency. And guess what happens to us as a U.S. territory? I don't gotta go zipper dive the UN for help and have them send some strongly fucking worded letter. I'd rather be the Puerto Rico than be Cuba. I'd rather be Puerto Rico than the Dominican Republic or Haiti. I don't have to beg other nations to maybe come help me. I got the USA. If someone takes one of our boats, it's the US Navy that's going to intervene. I don't have to send the UN a strongly worded letter because people are abusing me. I'm a Puerto Rican. I got the US Navy on my side. I got the US Air Force on my side. Oh my God, my currency is shit. My peso is worth 50 to 1 on the dollar. No, I got the dollar. There's no Puerto Rican peso. So if you look at the being, Puerto Rico is what everyone wants to be. They won't admit it. But if they could marry a Puerto Rican and get Puerto Rican citizenship, they would. They would do it in Mexico. They would do it in Brazil. They would do it in Colombia. They would do it in Venezuela. If they could have that green card to be in Puerto Rico, they would do it. They would do it in a heartbeat. Yes, Puerto Rico, everyone pays. Brother, federal income tax is federal income tax. People like Puerto Rico because it doesn't have state tax, especially for big businesses. So people that make a lot of money, like Logan Paul, likes to bring his ass over here. Everybody pays la planilla federal. That's what we call the federal income tax. Of course, we pay the federal income tax. What we have is very low state taxes. No. Look at this. Look at this. I take the question back. I was just curious. Sorry if I got people riled up. No. Don't take it back. Because if you take it back, you would be under the impression that I'm offended. And I'm not offended. I'm glad you asked the question. Now, the thing is, when you're talking about these people that are taking my vote, they make me angry. When you're talking about the people that are taking the vote of the Black people and the Latinos in Texas, in Florida, and people in the chat, don't get mad at David because these are good things to discuss. David is bringing up topics that are good to discuss. Just like I tried to explain to the person from Iran that it is very difficult for Americans to understand that they are not a force for evil and that we are deadly afraid of causing more harm than good. I want to explain to David, you do great by asking things. You're helping me by asking this. I'm not mad at you. I thank you, David. I thank you for being here. I'm not mad at all. Look, if you got to go, you got to go. But I hope you don't go because you think we're mad at you. You're welcome here. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. David asked a good question. You know who I'm mad at? I'm mad at the people that are disenfranchising the Latinos in Mexico, and the Mexican Latinos that are citizens in Texas, the Latinos from everywhere that are citizens and can legally vote, that are being disenfranchised by the illegal immigrants. That's where the problem lies. That's why you got to get out the vote. So I hope, David, that you understand that I'm with you, and I thank you for your question. And I think it is a good question because the people should understand this. And I made this handy article. I'm going to publish it under my new account. This is my old account. Let me copy this link and throw it in the chat for you guys. This goes into the disenfranchisement and how it is statistically impossible that it was an accident, that these things happened. Let me see if I can find it. Here. Yeah, that's the original article from my old account, but I'm going to put it in my new account. You see here. And this is just a song that I like. You are coping. You can sing this to the IRGC every time they say they're winning. Okay, remember, this is a song for the Durkas in the IRGC. You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething. I like that song. I feel a little gay when I play it. Just a little. It makes me want to work out. I'm like, damn, I gotta do some push-ups. I gotta do some sit-ups. You know. No, but you can throw that at them. Okay, so you say AI, like their slop isn't worth responding. Okay, it is pretty gay. Okay, I admit it. It is pretty gay. But you know what? So is Mustafa. And we don't hate the gays. We hate the people that kill the gays. Americans don't do that. But the Durkas do. So, you know, okay, this is the version I like even better. Because I'm also, chat, I'm a weeb. So I'm going to play the weeb version. This is the weeb version. You are coping and seething. You
just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard.
This is more adorable. This is kind of cute. This is probably referring some anime I haven't seen, but this is a little better, right?
Coping and seething.
I forgot exactly how gay the other one was. It's pretty gay. But this one's you know, you have a little bit of both flavors. There's nothing wrong with being gay. That's perfectly all right. We're not gonna judge your sins. That's up to God. And who knows what he thinks about all this stuff. All I know is you know, I'm here to love you guys and bless you. I have let me see, Hi Turbine says, I have many Puerto Rican friends back in I guess that's Massachusetts, but I've never been to Puerto Rico. They set me up with a Peruvian wife. Yeah, we like to mix it up. Yeah. We love seeing everybody. We call it the Jungle Fever Island. We got that jungle fever. We like to mix the races. They really set me up New Year's Eve party without telling me until I was there. Oh, we love love. We love love. Oh, I love love.
And from
okay, we may need to like that was a wild tangent. I hope you guys like the wild tangents. We do some wild tangents here, but you guys appear to be here for it. All right. So we're going back to the wall. And what the wall was talking about and how that tangent started is about why, as a Puerto Rican, or many Latinos and many Black people are very kind of sick of immigration. The problem is immigration disenfranchises us. It disenfranchises us even if you're a Democrat. Let's say you wanted Karen Bass for some reason instead of Nithya, whatever her name is. You've been disenfranchised. It's not just the people that wanted Spencer Pratt. If anybody actually wanted Karen Bass, let's say Karen Bass didn't want that 5% new tax, but Nithya did want that 5% new tax. You've been disenfranchised. Let's say the 5% new tax was a separate X on that ballot. I don't know how that ballot went. Whoever cheated on that vote voted in 5% tax in California. Is that something that people should be able to do? Even if all three candidates are Democrats, should they be able to just hike a 5% tax because they're stealing the voting rolls and making their own? That disenfranchises Democrats and Republicans. That's what you got to see. This disenfranchises us Latinos, us Black people, us poor people, because sometimes the situation in the barrio, the trailer park, and the ghetto is kind of the same. It's not the guy at the trailer park oppressing you. It's these goddamn Marxist Democrats. Like I say, it's everyone. Look, your problem isn't Judaism. It's the Marxist Jewish people. Your problem isn't Christianity. It's the Marxist Christian people. Your problem isn't Hollywood. It's the Marxists in Hollywood. Your problem isn't any particular country or profession. It's the Marxists. They infiltrate in every creed, race, nation, profession, and faith. They just infiltrate and destroy. That's the problem. That's the enemy. You don't gotta hate every particular sexuality. It's not the preference that's the problem. Look at Blair White. Look at Andy Ngo. The problem is the Marxists. Anyway, let's get back to the wall. Tom the Wall home and let him know how to
police. ICE isn't a real law enforcement agency. Fail to comply with ICE. I see the signs every protest resist. So look, they have educated people that they can resist ICE, and the hateful rhetoric continues, which we've had some tragedies recently because people didn't want to comply with ICE. So this is yet another example today. What happened in front of the federal building is another example of attacking ICE. And I'm sure if you ask that person why he did it, he can repeat the talking points I just said that you hear from Democratic members of Congress, the Democratic mayors and governors who simply want ICE to go away.
Look, that's an error on his part. They're not democratic. They hate democracy. They're Democrats, but they're not democratic.
So you complimented from Mamdani for his response here. So he said what occurred outside the plaza this morning was deeply disturbing. Said the New York City mayor, I'm relieved no one was seriously injured and that the suspect is in custody. Mamdani's team is apparently in touch with police and will support the federal investigation. Can you add anything more to what that coordination and cooperation looks like right now, Tom? How are all these different bodies interacting right now?
Well, look, I'm hoping the NYPD will work and coordinate with the FBI and federal investigators. I don't think he'd have that same stance if it was ICE conducting the investigation, right?
Yes, that's the problem. One of the things that Mamdani, let me see if I can find the statement here. Let me see where we at. We have 5 minutes. Okay. Let's look at the statement.
In this same building.
Our my team is in touch with the NYPD. That's the problem. Because the NYPD will do a bullshit investigation. If they're connected to Antifa, if this guy is connected to Antifa, they might forget that. If these guys are connected to some kind of radical movement, to some university movement, these motherfuckers might, oops, that's the problem. Homan is right here.
Right? But look, I think despite the mayor's stances and his political stance on a lot of things, I think the FBI has a close working relationship with NYPD. They have the Joint Terrorism Task Force, got the Homeland Security Committee. So I think Homeland Security Task Force. So I think the relationship's pretty good when it comes to something this serious. So we'll see how it turns out. So this incident just happened. I'm just learning about it before I walked out here on the North Lawn. So I think NYPD will work well with the FBI to address any terrorism attack.
So law enforcement.
Okay, so what he's talking about is the designation. If it gets designated as terrorism, that means that they're going to intervene. And if they intervene, it changes the calculus on what goes on with the evidence. That's what my suspicion is. That he's saying, okay, if it's getting seen as terrorism, automatically, they're going to have to work with the New York Federal Task Force that they got working jointly, and they might have a tighter control of the evidence. And they might have a better communication and information sharing, which might make the investigation faster and more transparent between them.
A source is telling Fox News Digital that there was anti-ICE stuff on him. That's about all we know. Can you add any further detail to that? What exactly was the content?
I don't want to get ahead of the FBI in this. I simply don't know. I just got advised of this before it came out the North Lawn. But again, why does he think ICE is bad? Why does he want to attack ICE? Again, because the last year and a half, all he's heard from Democratic members of Congress and sanctuary city mayors and governors is that ICE is not a real law enforcement agency. ICE is separating families. ICE arresting people in churches and hospitals, which is none of it's true. So I'm sure he's been educated by the wrong people, and that's why he chose to take action. Because every time they talk about the hateful rhetoric rises, there's that small percentage on the far left who will take some sort of ridiculous action because they feel emboldened because members of Congress are agreeing with him that ICE needs to go away.
Tom,
you got to understand that that's an excellent point. Like when you're justifying action and you're a political figure and you're justifying action like that, that's fucking crazy. Somebody's going to pick up on that. Somebody's going to know, somebody's going to think, somebody's not going to know that this is kind of like just politics, which I think it goes beyond even just politics. And they're going to take it too far because they're just straight up lying about what's going on.
To be clear and add to the reporting here, that we know that the target here, the 26 Federal Plaza building, houses a number of government offices, including the New York office of the FBI, but also adding to that, the immigrant court where many migrants have been arrested after leaving hearings. Bigger picture here, Tom, as we continue to look at these live pictures of the scene here in New York City, we're we're getting close, just over 100 days to the midterm elections. We have candidates that are openly running with anti-ICE, abolish ICE on their platforms. What is your message to those that are spreading that kind of rhetoric?
Especially the DSA. I think if they go with the more extreme candidate, there is a possibility, right? There is a possibility that it is too far. If they pick candidates that are too far communist or too far, woke, it might be something that the center can't hold. Like there is a possibility for so much blowback on the left that they don't vote, that they're just like, nah. That's why they're trying to cheat. That's why they're looking for so many mail-in ballots, so many people that vote without ID, because they know even the Democrats aren't going to go out and vote for them. And that's why if you're a conservative or if you're just center, you need to get out your vote. You need to punish these Democrats that have gone too far and gone too crazy.
Rhetoric to voters.
Educate yourselves. Go to ICE.gov and educate yourself on what ICE does. It isn't just civil immigration enforcement. It's criminal immigration enforcement. It's drug enforcement, weapons, firearms investigations. ICE actually investigates people who try to smuggle technology out of the United States.
I'm going to tell you what they do that is the most hidden and the most noble. One of the things that ICE does is it takes care of all these minors that are being smuggled and trafficked. Like one of the Biden administration lost thousands upon thousands of children. You know who's getting them back? The Wall. Tom the Wall Homan is the person that's getting them back. So I have nothing but good things to say about Tom the Wall Homan.
Like missile technology and sell it to our enemies around the world. ICE conducts those type of investigations. ICE is the second largest component of the Joint Terrorism Task Force with the FBI. ICE does a lot of national security. When it comes to immigration enforcement, the majority of people we are arresting, despite the lies being told by the left, are criminals. The last number I looked at was 60% criminal, 40% non-criminal. How can anybody be against taking an illegal alien criminal off the streets of their neighborhood? So again, it's fake stories, downright lies. I challenge any Democratic representative to give me one example of ICE arresting anybody at a hospital. One example of ICE arresting anybody at an elementary school.
Oh my God, they would be all over that. Texas is telling us approximately 400 aliens so far. That's very possible, very possible.
One example of ICE arresting people at a church. Well, I hear it all the time, but they've yet provided one example. This constant lying to the American people. They think this is a winning message for them going to the midterms, and they're going to keep it up. They're not going to go away. They're not going to stop lying. I just wish people would spend a few minutes, go to ICE.gov, and look at the amazing work the men and women of ICE do every day.
Okay, and as we now know, they are naming the suspect Andrew Arabaka. Not sure exactly how that's pronounced. But I do want to highlight what is on the screen here before it's removed. I'm being told that these are the things left behind by the suspect, Tom. It includes what looks like some sort of carry cart or a temporary wagon setup with the words "ICE off our streets." Again, I'm being told that this was the anti-ICE stuff that was on the suspect at the time, Tom.
Well, good luck with that. ICE isn't leaving the streets at all. Matter of fact, we're going to increase our presence in New York because their sanctuary policies. Governor Hochul just signed legislation that ended our 287G agreements, that ended our cooperation with the sheriffs, which means rather than one agent arresting one bad guy in the jail or a 287G program, now we got to send a whole team, a fugitive operations team, to go look for that bad guy that we could have arrested in safety and security of the jail, which is safer for the agent.
That's a big problem. Why do you have to go and find these people in the streets? Because the mayor is protecting them. The mayor is hiding them.
It's safer for the aliens, safer for the community, but because of their actions, their sanctuary state actions, now we got to send more agents there to do the same job that took less a few months ago.
I got to let you go. I know you've got a lot of work to do, Tom, but just before you go, will this person be held accountable and responsible?
Absolutely. I think we got a strong leader in the Attorney General's office. We got a strong leader in FBI. President Trump has said 1,000 times, we will not stand by and let anybody violate the law, especially when it comes to domestic terror acts like this or attacks against ICE officers. Attacks against ICE officers up over 1,400%. Zero tolerance. President Trump told me this himself. Zero tolerance. If you attack ICE, you'll be held to the highest standards of the law.
Got it. Tom, we really appreciate you joining us here top of the hour on this news. Thank you very much, sir. Be sure to.
Okay. I think that was nice. We're going to end with that. I didn't really do any negative news today. My apologies for anybody that wanted to see me chimp out. But I'm doing I'm trying to be a good monkey, trying to do the best I can. We got some good information here. If you want to see how many have been deported from your city, go here. That's great information. Thank you very much. I'm going to put my link out there in case you guys want to help me reach my goals. I'm trying to reach. Let me see if we can get to a goal here. Oh, look at that. Maybe we could get 5 more. Maybe 5 more of you want to jump on. Maybe we could get to 740. If 5 of you who are not yet subscribed would like to subscribe, that would help out a lot. And I think we can go a little bit over this information and give you guys like 4 minutes if you guys want to help me out there. See if we can reach that goal. Let me put the goal over here. Right. Oh, we got 1 more. Only 4 to go. Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna read some of this. I'm just gonna probably take this because it's mine and just copy it and paste it as a report. Let me see if I can do that. Articles, right? Start typing. Okay. What do I have here? Oh, I got to put the title. What was the title? I think I can take the Karens out. I'm just going to leave it with immigrants. Illegal. Just to be clear. Right, and this has the full strategy. I think I have the cartoon here. Let me see if I can throw that here. Let me see. There's got to be a way I can get this cartoon. I had it somewhere. Can't remember. Well, maybe I can get it from here. You guys give me a second. I'm going to make this article for you and put it in for you so you guys can use it as a reference. It has all the statistical data that proves that it is exactly what I'm saying it is. All right. Can I put a picture on this? Bam. Apply. Publish. Everyone. Publish. Okay, there it is. And can I pin this? Can I pin this article? Maybe I can retweet it and pin it, maybe. Boost, edit, pin to your profile, pin. There we go. So now if you go to my profile, this is going to be the pinned article. I'm going to leave that there. So you guys are going to be able to see exactly how the Democrats are replacing people of color like Latinos and Black people with illegal immigrants, how it was done on purpose, what was the strategy, the percentage, how it's statistically impossible, some of the videos and articles of them admitting that that's their goal. That's all going to be there. We got to get out the votes, and we also got to stop the fraud with these people, because they are committing, fraud. So I had this here for you. I hope you guys can see it. And, maybe you guys do see the monkey, grease those gears and, turn those wrenches and work hard. You give us a little follow. You give us a little love. And, maybe I should also pimp my my Twitter. This is my Twitter. Let me put it out here. Let me see. Make it too big to rig. That's right. This is my Twitter. And this is my Grease Monkey Garage. Maybe some people will want to join. Let's see if we can make that go up. Let me see if it went up a little. Oh my God, we made it. We made it to the goal. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys. I want to leave right now, but before I leave, I want to say something to all of you here. I want to bless you, bless your health, bless your wealth, bless your plans, bless your home, bless your family, your kin, your loved ones, and everything you touch. All right? That's been it for me. Peace.